Um, as I was reading Alchemy today, I had a message come through. So um, I wrote it down, so I'm just going to read it to the best of my ability. God is all things, and no thing is separate from God. The things you look upon that you decide are bad are of God, and all the players in that situation and the situation are of God. All of those who are served by the situation as it occurs also are also of God. You must remember, you know not what it's for. Your eyes see a thing and you ascribe it with values, right, wrong, good, bad, when in truth it simply is. And it is necessary for the good of one or many. Your mind has been hardened to this truth. Your heart has been hardened to this truth. Your judgment will serve you through lessons learned in fear and struggle. You can choose anew. You can experience in a new way. It is your choice and your chosen path. You see and experience what you align to, what you are in agreement to, until you claim your divinity and resonate as truth. You will experience what you think is suffering, yours or that of others. Once you live as the divine self, you no longer make choices in fear. This changes the entire human experience. So that came through because I know how hard it is to hear me hear this come from me, that all things are God. You know, when we see things that to our understanding, to our belief system, it looks like it can't possibly be God at work. Because we have been taught to believe in this duality, this polarity of good and bad. And I struggle with this. I find it challenging too at times, and I was asking the question, how can this be? How can this be? I know it is true. I know it is true. But my human mind needs more clarity. I know that this message is true, that all things are God, that God is in all things, that there is nothing separate from God. It's not possible. And so, you know, I am challenged with the same struggle in that everyone else is. And when I asked this question, this was the answer that I got. And it explains a lot. When it says you know not what it's for, that is from A Course in Miracles teachings, where that is one of the workbook lessons, is that you know not what it's for. So I did participate in those. I did participate in the workbook lessons. I did the 365 days and then some of A Course in Miracles, and it was very beneficial to me. So that is another text that could assist greatly in a level of understanding, or it could assist greatly in assisting to deprogram, to take away the viruses from the system. Right, right. You know, this part where they say your eyes see a thing and you ascribe it with values. You give it the values. And A Course in Miracles says that too. And that you know not what it's for. And A Course in Miracles also teaches I see a meaningless world. That's one of the workbook lessons. I see a meaningless world. For us to recognize that the things that we see mean nothing in and of themselves. We give it the meaning, we give it the value, we determine, we give it the horror and the shocking, right? That we ascribe that to it. We do that. We encode it with those values. At the level of spirit, at the level of God, it is just a thing. It just is, it's an occurrence, it is a sensation, it is, it is just a happening. Right. So the part then when they say, until you claim your divinity and resonate as truth, you will experience what you think is suffering. And that again, because we, through our beliefs, we determine what suffering is. Like I have a headache, right? If I don't, but if I have a headache, if I'm experiencing a headache is a sensation in the body. Is it really suffering, or is it a sensation in the body? So until we claim our divinity and resonate as truth, you will experience what you think is suffering, yours or that of others. And that means I perceive that someone is suffering because that's the value I give that, whatever it is. Homeless people, okay. In the area where I live, we have a homeless man that you can see walking all different seasons. He walks great distances, carrying a big pack on his back, and I believe he has a tent that he uses and all kinds of stuff, and he carries it all with him. I years ago had a friend who has since left the area who knew this man and had him over for dinner on occasion, and she knew him, and she told me, she said, he has money. This man has money. He actually chooses to live that way. This is how he chooses to live. It's not that he doesn't have money. He does. He has chosen this life for himself, okay? But when we see him, those of us who think that kind of lifestyle is some level of lack or deprivation, we assume that there is suffering in it. And to him, he is living happily this way, choosing to live this way. He doesn't have to. He chooses to. That is how he's happy. That is what makes him happy. So that's just a testament to how we can perceive suffering where suffering is not. It is lack mentality. It is part of lack mentality. So once we reach that level of claiming our divinity and living as the divine, there is no more lack mentality. And then, of course, in conclusion, they say, once you live as the divine self, you no longer make choices in fear. This changes the entire human experience. And, I have I have done my best to articulate that concept that once we align, once we realize on a level of realization that is more than just mental, but a knowing, and to know it throughout our whole being, that we are the point of attention of God in physical form. Once we reach that and we live that and we become the Christ in form, fully Christed, or yes, when the Christ is living the life through us, we no longer, there will be no need for laws, there will be no need for police, there will be no need for military, there will be no need for these things. At least not against ourselves. Because we will choose, we will breathe love. We will emanate love. And there will be no need for protection, because the true self needs no defense. Truth needs no defense. So the divine self needs no defense. That is all. In peace and love, may you be blessed.